Okay, welcome again. Before we start, we have a disclosure. Please, it's very important. Traders should be aware the risk in the trading, and maybe it's not suitable for you. There is a winning and losing in the future market, and please be careful how you trade the future. We just trying to cover what's going on today on Thursday. We don't mind to share our signals and we spotlight what's going on in the market here. Very strong. We predicted a very strong trend today, and especially the Nasdaq earlier today did extremely well, and there is a very good. After we hit the sell entry on the ES, it seems like we're gonna have a new signal, or we got a new signal on the ES. Yes, we have a new signal on the ES, and the new is not has not come out yet, but is about to have a new signal. This is something that is very important. If we look at the market analyzer, for the ones that are not aware of the system, you can see from the market analyzer, and you're very welcome to copy those signals. That's why we are sharing live. And if you want decided to take those signals, you are on your own. We're not responsible for your trade, and we are not trying to misguide you or mislead you in any matter. There is no sales stocks. There is nothing. It's just strictly live right in front of you. And it is, if you wanted to take a second opinion, is very fine. You will see the winning and the losing in the same time. As an example, right now we have a new YM signal. So we go to the YM signal, and the signal was at YM buying at 24480, and then the target is 24593 is right in front of you. On the pullback, you have an entry as 24480. And the market, if we look at the ES, now we have a new signal on the ES. It says a buy entry on the ES, and the ES entry is 269475, and your target is 270675. And those, if you decide to take those trades, you have to be aware of that you are on your own. So the signals now just pop out, and we are fixing to go up with that market. If we notice on the ES, if we go a little bit bigger chart, so maybe you can see it because it's a live, we have the key point here. It is, you can see those keys, they always, the market rejected from those key points, and the key is 2698 on the ES, and you can see exactly, I'll try to get it bigger so you can see exactly where this ES is struggling from. Once we break the 2698, we are going to hit directly up to the target. And for the normal auto trade, as an example, if we take some of the ES on the normal auto trade, we started the auto trades around 9:45, and we can see the high is 269825. This is your A swing trading. And on the Nasdaq, we have the entry, actually an early entry on the Nasdaq. The auto trade started around 9:45, and we had the entry around 10:03. And you can see this is based on two contracts. This is a really advantage. This is the different system automated trading we have, and this is a really advantage. So we can see when the market hit the target to the downside, we can always find those signals coming from the other auto trade. Where is the entry point if you are concentrating on one type of an auto trade? The things is in the trading, it is especially for the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's been a nightmare for a guy is an professional guy. It has been a nightmare, even to some of the guys they have 5 or 6 years behind. Those guys, the older ones, we have seen a lot. For the ones that have 15, 20 years in their back, we have seen much more volatility in our life. But at the moment now, because of this volatility, you have to be careful and not undermining the volatility in the market. So right now, even by the best guy has been trading for 25 years. He is trying to pinpoint a lot of corners to understand what's going on in the market. For the last 4 weeks, it's been a nightmare for a guy is just an end professional or a retailer trader. And this is aggravation to a lot of a big size of the trading. So, guys, whatever system out there you have, you should not be, whether it's us or somebody else. Sometimes we go through those phases where the market is hard, and a lot of politics, a lot of news. The market can get affected by it, and there is nothing we can do except being patient and not overmerge ourselves. If you are on a $5,000, yes, you can trade the CLES NASDAQ, but you are not counting on the bad days where you have a lot of volatility and sometimes you have losses. So I don't want to count the winning, I want to count the losses. So that's why I strongly advise if you have a $3 or $4 or $5,000 and you are not aware how this future market function, then you need to go crawling and take a step by step and take in small trades live. As an example, one of the strategy you can do that maybe you will take a Nasdaq and you allowed yourself one live trade a day. This is how you break the ice and not over immersion yourself, especially if you are not aware of what's going on. As an example, I want to today want to show a couple of charts, and yes, and you can say the automated trading can take over. Yes, the automated trading is just a mechanical trading. Call it a jukebox, call it a black box, call it whatever you like, but still, at the end of the day, any type of an automated trading, it is a mechanical based on what's going on in the market. Doesn't not matter which automated trading you are using. So knowledge also, it is a huge difference between management and understand what's going on in the markets, then pinpoint your whatever indicator you have from anyone or whatever auto trade you have purchased from. We cannot say the auto trade cannot make money sometimes, because I'm going to show you something here. We are going on a live every day, and the purpose is there is no sales stock. Is just simply try to uh, put this trader back in line, stand being a daydreaming, and try to figure out why that auto trade make money today or why that auto trade did not make money today. As an example, we can see on the ES. Earlier today on this NASDAQ, we have around $1,000. If we look at this NASDAQ here, we had almost, we ticked $1,000 on one trade. And now you can see the back knowledge with what's going on. So as an example here, the NASDAQ, we will cover the NASDAQ and we will cover the ES. As an example, if you are auto trading, you were up to $600-700 on that auto trade base on one trade because we started this auto trade around 9:45. Fair enough. If we look at this chart here, the technical chart on that one here, especially for our members, you cannot just say, well, why the I had $900 and why that auto trade now is $300. If we look, this one here, we have covered so many times on the webinars and our webinars. Sadly, not everybody comes into webinars, and sometimes we have a 3, 4 updates, and that customers, we never hear a beep from him. And then all of a sudden he pops out and he says he is in trouble. I don't know. I cannot keep up with hundreds of traders to make sure that every trader is in trouble or not. But I need that trader to approach to me and tell me when is those webinars are, so we can go ahead and learn what's going on the new updates. As an example here, we can see from the previous video live and today and tons of videos we have done that those numbers here, they are 8 out of 10 the market rejected from. I cannot say there is nothing in this market 100%. 8 out of 10, and you have 2% is not. Most of the time, those numbers are key to your trading. Those numbers, the fib lines or those keys here on that chart, it's not a complicated chart. Those are your keys. As an example, we can see on the ES is telling you, and if you notice here, let me make it as big as I can. If we notice here, on this high right there, we can see the key on the ES is 2698. The 2698, it is the key for that ES for today. So if we go back and look at the ES here, we say we have $400 right now in that trade. Fair enough. This is not about numbers. But right here, I had $800 on that trade. So if I was aware of that line right there, I would have closed this auto trade today and call it off for today. I am done for today. And the difference between a guy closing his eye, not knowing what's going on in the market, and a guy is aware of this market, on that trade, as an example, we're not trying to teach price action. God forbid any guy with an auto trade, if you tell him price action, I tell you what, he runs 100 miles an hour away. We're not asking to learn price action. That's why the auto trade is taking your feelings away, taking your emotions away. Fair enough. But this line, how much it costs to look at it, especially our members, if we look at this line right there, it got kicked out the first time and the second time, and we can see it loud and clear in the green color, and you can see how this market rejected from this number. When we have a lot of beef on that trade, what's wrong by just clicking here on that button on the top and say close position, and you are done for today. One of the things, one of the tests you will find out, any kind of auto trade, if you trade it all day long, most of the time, any auto trade, you will wind up in minus. Because there is the market, whether we like it or not, goes in phases. It goes in a trend, go back and forth, get stuck in the channels, get stuck between two fibs, and that is going to happen today, tomorrow, a day after tomorrow, next year, and the year after. So this is what I wanted to show from $1,000 a trade. Now we are down to $100. Of course, we can readjust the auto trade and we can make it tight with a trailing stop. And probably if you want to use the trailing stop on it, you would have been out with $400-500. But this is irrelevant. What we are trying to say is in the auto trade, any kind of auto trade, we have to look at whatever chart or whatever indicator you have under your sleeves. Let's take as an example, let me pick up another one if I can find the mouse. Just a second, please. Well, I cannot find too many things today. Okay. This is one funny story. This is an example about knowledge. We have a YM. This is today, which I have covered many times before. Right now, the YM. Let's look at the YM. Look at this one, guys. This is the same number, the same green line, the same green line we have on on the ES. Look, so you will not say this one is a prefixed video or anything. Look at this line. It's the same indicator telling you the YM right now. You can see 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bars on the same line. Look at it. Let me get it bigger for you. And you can see where the YM is struggling is 24431. This is the struggling point was on the YM, and it was 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bars, and there we go, finished. Sometimes the market, if the seller's there, they might push it down, then we wait on the new signal. You don't have to do any price action on that one. So as an example right now on the 150 ticks YM, there is around 200 ticks on that trade. We have the 244.31 and we have the support line at 244.01. This is your minor fib line and this is your major fib line. On that auto trade, we use fib line, sustain, trailing stop, and all this. This is where most of the time in this area here, this market is going to be projected. And if we watch this one closely, most likely this one is going to be projected. So here is, it's like you're sitting on a poker table. You have to make a decision on your own if you want to take more risk or close your computer for today and call it off. This is a trader decision, and it is very advisable for the trader not to be aggressive in this business here. Because if today you made $1,000, could be tomorrow you are down 1,000. So uh, the best way it is to protect your profit. If we notice when you are trading by just looking at that chart, there is a 3, 4 lines you need to memorize. That's it. When it comes into support line, and when it is telling you that there is a very good place right there, maybe you need to take your profit. So as an example right now, I can see the YM is struggling. The auto trade is probably gonna stay on, but I'm gonna wait till this one here, see if I can catch it a little bit farther down, and it don't seems like it's gonna go farther down. And now you start losing momentum. It takes one click here, and we are done for that trade. And we finish for that trade. And now the best way for you as a trader close everything and go spend time with your family. Or if you need to do some more practice, you can switch to the sim account, but as a trading, you are done. So now if we are looking at this picture here, we had a very key point is 244.31. It is the same keyword it was on the ES 2698. So let's go back to the YM. And if we notice here, we maximize our profit. And now we are more relaxed because this is where this market is going to give you or drive you crazy. So let's keep our eye on it. Let's take another chart. Okay, we have, I don't know if we have, yes, we do have it. So this one here is out of the way. This one is going back and forth. Let's examine the CL. On the CL, this is the swing trading. This is a total different automated system. On the CL, we had an entry at 64.97, fair enough. And we had a target at 68.23.25. We are already hit the target. There is nothing there anymore. On the pullback re-entry on the CL, I will give you the number in a second. The pullback re-entry on the CL is 64.92. 64.92. It was the same story on the CL. We had a two losing trade, and then we nailed one trade on the long at 64.43, 64.63, then went short from 64.66, and we hit it at 64.37. Is anything left for me to auto trade this one here? No, not at the moment. There is nothing for me to auto trade on the CL at the moment. Why? Because the CL is already hit the target. And I'm not saying you need to get involved with your trade, but it is a very good information to be aware what's going on. So, as an example, when we see sometimes the market hit, maybe you can pause your your auto trade until we find a new direction by combining those two signals together. This is going to be much more efficient in your trading. So right now, let's look. There is nothing on the YM right now. We had the ES is struggling. There is not much going on. The CL is already done. Let's see, the Nasdaq is on the pullback. So we can see now the market is changing direction, and it is in a very critical area. This is where most of the traders lose money. Right now, we are on the key between two signals, buy and sell signals. At the moment, when you see those lines here, when this market dive into trouble, it's very easy. You can predict it when the market goes in trouble, is right there. Too many fib lines, entry, double trailing stop. The trailing stops are double support area. So the entry is one of the basic key. Then you have a double support area, a minor and a major. And if we notice on those two, NASDAQ, and let me put the ES as an example, they are in the same story. Those here are, they scared the hell out of me making a decision in those area here. They scare me. The reason is very simple. If we look on those area here, whether you are auto trading or a guy is just a normal guy trying to take a manual trade. So if we are looking, we can see this is a very critical area following by your entry. Your entry is your key to that market, whatever market you are using. Your trailing stop is a fib line. Your trailing stop is a minor fib line, the first one. And the second one, it is a major support line, and this is your last stop. What I mean by last stop, if this market gonna go farther down, the whole momentum of that market is gonna change from long to short. And this is really very important. This is why this area here scared the hell out of me. The reason is this is a key right now on the ES and the NASDAQ. It can really, you have two options here on this market is going to do in those areas. Either this market, the buyers, it's not up to me and up to you. Either the buyers that are gonna come into this area here, push this market up, or if they decide to push it down, this is where it's gonna be pushed down, and the whole market is gonna be changing momentums and direction, and the whole market going upside down. A normal guy is taking a trade short here. He might make 10 ticks or 15 ticks, or in that matter, if his auto trade taken is short here, it might make 10 or 15 ticks. One of the things is the trader is unaware that he is a jet skiing right there where a bunch of sharks right under his feet. So if this trader made 10 ticks here, does not mean he made it. If this guy took a short here by accident, the market came in to the same direction he is going here. This is where the most critical area in the future trading, because right now you need a crystal ball, or you need to go ahead and just, the market is sitting right there and nothing we can do about it. We just need to sit on the side, because this is where your chances on taking a trade or an auto trade is gonna be a huge difference. We have it just closed on the YM. I think we have it just closed on the YM short, and I'm so glad it's closed right now. Uh, this one here on the 288, we have one short trade here, one long trade, and one short. This one, another one, it just closed right in the same direction. So that indicate that there is no more short. And now watch this one here, folks. Please watch this one. Look where is the NASDAQ is on the last stop. Look at this. Look at the wick. I hope you can see the wick on this one here. This is the last stop in the NASDAQ before we gonna go short on it. And if we notice, sometimes the market is telling you what's going on. If this is a really, I'm so glad it's alive. If we notice here on the NASDAQ, hit the first bar, the second bar, the third bar on the same first support line. Then the market penetrate the first minor support, and look where it's dancing with. It's been dancing here since 1037 on the same line. It's telling us here there is a key right there. And now, if we are able to break this one, if you notice now, start to blinking on the top, this is where the sellers now trying to push this market down. And is telling us now is we are coming to new signal. And we're going to follow this new signal. And the same story on the ES right now is telling us there is a new signal if we are able to penetrate those last defense line on the on the long trade. So keep your eye on it and let's see. Okay, we start getting the new signal. The Nasdaq got a new signal, and it is sell at 6782.50. Your target is 6749.75. On the pullback, your re-entry is 6782. This is a really strong. If we notice here, this is a very nice ride from this below this fib line all the way to the target, which the target, it is very nice, a clear cut all the way from there. And let's monitor this one here. Another option you can see is the one in the left corner here is telling us you have a market analyzer. The market analyzer is based on 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 22, and 30. And then it's combining your ATR, your volatility indication, and your MACDs and everything. And it's a plotting one signal right there on the top on every chart. This is a total independent system, is guiding that trader that you are on the right direction. And this is heaven to have. If we notice right now on the YM and the NASDAQ, there are sellers. That's why I have them a blinked. And the reason I have them a blink because I don't want to be distracted from that bar. When I'm looking at it, I can see from the corner of my eyes there is sellers in there. I don't want to read numbers. I wanted to just flash for me, telling me we have a new signal on the YM, we have a new signal on the ES, and now we are going straight down. So right now on the Nasdaq, this is one of the option you have to be careful with, and it is very good on your market analyzer. When your market analyzer go in sequence between when the, let me change it here, when the Nasdaq, ES, NYM going in the same direction. Earlier, half an hour ago, the Nasdaq was going on the other direction where the ES and the YM going the opposite direction on in the market. That is gonna get confusion between the ES and the Nasdaq, and the trader is gonna get lost between those two. As we see right now, this market is in sequence where the 30-year treasury bond, it is to the buy, has to be the opposite direction of the ES. So now if we look at this market is working in sequence where the ES on the selling position, the YM on the selling position, the Nasdaq on the selling position. The CL is a total different personality. The 30-year treasury bond is on the opposite direction as it's supposed to be, and this is where the Russell, of course, it has to be on the same direction. So as an example, there's a new signal right now on the ES. We have a 1920 ticks. On the YM, as you see it right in front of your eyes, 44 ticks. On the NASDAQ is 60 ticks. It's a very plain and clear what's going on in that market. If we notice right now, we are testing the new system, the new update. And I want to show you when the market is in sequence have a huge effect on any kind of auto trade you are using. And it is very clear. I'm going to show you something. If we notice once this market going in the right direction, I hope you can see that, but we can see the ES, the first ES is 920, $900. The second one, 850, NASDAQ, 840, 740, YM 580, 550, and there's a new trade on the CL $100. So right now, what we have, those R5 and R4 is telling us there is a little reversal, but I'm not worried about that reversal because one thing you have to understand when the market go fast, every time when the market goes fast, it's gonna retrace and then recalculate. Every single number has been accomplished. So if we are talking about why the market going back, if we notice how this market dropped very fast, the market goes back to confirm those numbers and there is a pullback. As I can see from here, from the system here, I have the sellers way over the buyers on the first one, also the sellers over the buyers on the third one, and there is a 6 different time frame on those. So there are a rebust indicating the sellers they are way over the buyers, and then a flash for me when the sellers come in and jump in straight out to the market. In the same one time, we have the market analyzer signal is telling me those are from your trading panel folks, is signaling the direction is down. So I can see I have covered all those corners and now I can be related to that short trade. And watch this one here. At the moment right now, we have 10:50 a.m. We are closing to the lunch hours. Fair enough. Trust me, once we hit those targets now, that it is where the most volatility is going to happen. And mark it on your chart, nothing is going to happen before lunch anymore. Once we hit those targets, it is off. It is finished. It is done and over with. Whoever made money, and whoever don't make money, trying to make money, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. So I hope that guys, this is today. Let's keep looking at it on the 4 range right now. On the other auto trade, we nailed one trade. We have one losing trade, and one trade right now is 825 on one trade. And that is telling me there is much more on that trade. So I'm not going to be closing that auto trade because my target on the other auto trade, I don't know when the other auto trade is going to close, but I know there is still a lot of beef to go down. So I'm not closing any positions at the moment. I'm going to leave it because the whole momentum has changed. Let's look at the YM. I made it big so we can see it. Look at this one, folks. The YM, there is a double support line right there, and you can see those are your $35 zone. We are right to the tick on the support line, but it will be penetrated, and we will be hitting the target at 42.82, absolutely. As we speak right now, we have those signals, you got them right in front of you. 20 ticks on the ES, YM 53 ticks, NASDAQ 51 ticks. Total of those first three, I don't care about the rest, is 237, 295, and 330. Whether you are taking those signals manually or automated trading, this is right there. You are done for today. You should not be trading anymore the rest of the day. So let's go back on the Nasdaq to see the story on the Nasdaq. It's still pushing down. All of them, they are going to be hitting the target. And there we go. It works like a clock. So once we hit the target, it will be done. Watch it, guys. Watch it. So that's why right now, because I'm aware of that, if I'm auto trading, look, now the auto trades are really kicking butts right there, right in front of you. Now, if you turn on the same auto trade, once those targets hit, you're not going to be making any money. Absolutely. It doesn't matter which auto trade you are traded. That period, half an hour, you're not going to be making money. You will be losing money. The reason is once we hit those targets, there is not much to do, profit taking. Half an hour later, maybe it's going to kick back up. But then what it does, once it hits its target, it's going to go back to the volatility where all the resistance lines are. And this is where the biggest mess a trader can dive in, especially if this market, once it hits right there, coming back to this area, this is where you need to take your hands off and say, this is not my game. I'll stay on the side. Now you can see there is a little pullback here. Fair enough. But mark it on your chart, please. You have your target on the ES is 2673.50. On your YM, your target is 24280. And on the NASDAQ is 2749.75. And I hope anybody has followed those trades today, nailed something out of it. We are doing this. We are sharing our signal to show you live, not a pre-mixed video and not a pre-made video, to see if a trader has a knowledge to prove a point. The reason I am going live to prove one point, that the trader is aware what's going on. He will lose money, absolutely. I cannot say he will make money every day, but the guy, different between a guy is aware what's going on and a guy he just look at numbers and aware what's going on. Because it's easy to say I didn't make money because of an indicator or of an auto trade, but why you didn't make money? How you did not make money? How did you make money? If you ask a guy, when a guy, I noticed I did this. I have a guy yesterday and the day before yesterday sending me snapshot. He made blah, 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 how much he made or how much he lost. Then you ask the same trader, okay, you nailed $700 on the CL today. How did you make it? He has no clue how he made it. He, you ask him, what is the entry point your auto trade took that trade? He has no clue. How did you exit? He has no clue. Or what he have seen, $700 in the plus. I respect that. But for me, if I make $200, I want to know how I made it. If I lose $200, I need to ask where is my money did go. When you have a child, you give him a couple $100 and he come back 10 minutes later and he say, I lost your 200. You ask him, how did you spend it? So if I have $200 in this market, stop loss, I want to know how I lost it. You know, not to just being pissed and not knowing how did I lose it. So right now what we see, we are about couple ticks to hit the target. We are one tick away to hit the target, and we are one tick away to hit the target on the YM. And let's look at the NASDAQ. We are about to hit the target, folks. We hit the target. As you see on the market analyzer, the target has hit on the NASDAQ, and the target has hit on the YM, and the target has hit on the ES. So for that signal we have followed right now, we have 40 ticks on the ES based on one contract. We have 87 ticks on the YM based on the last signal we had, and we have 132 ticks based on the NASDAQ we just did. You want to see what the Nasdaq did on the other auto trade? Very fine. Right now, the Nasdaq on the other auto trade, $1,500. $1,500 on that trade. YM on the other trade. What I'm saying is when the market is moving, we nailing it. When the market goes sideways, there is nothing I can do or anybody can do for you. Nothing I can do when the market is not moving. It's not your auto trade. The market is not moving. Live with it. This is part of your trading, and you have to comprehend and you have to accept when the market is not moving. I cannot move the market for you. This is $1,000 on the YM. So this is one of the days. If you look at the older, at the previous video before we opened today, the market, I made a very fast video and I sent it out and I said today, expect movement. If you go back to the previous video on the YouTube, you will see I have predicted that this market today, we're gonna have a very good run. And when the market is moving, running very nice, there is nothing. Being aware when it was the ES on the full range, being aware that the market is going to have more beef on it, stand panicking and close my trade at $900. Now is 1,225. Should I close it? Yes. Why? Because it's already hit the target on the other system and there is nothing to do anymore. Should I close it? Yes, sir. You close it. There is nothing left on that trade. So you do that all the time, and we hit the target, we hit the target, we hit the YM target, and you can see the YM has already hit the target, so there is nothing left to trade. And you can see right in front of you, once this market hit the target, you have not missed any ticks. You have not missed any ticks on that trade. And now it's going to pull back and we're going to go to this mess right there, folks. And this is where you're going to have a nightmare trading those area right there. Those area are the most critical area. And now this market is going to come to the resistance, 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 and that number. And then this is the true average price. And then resistance, resistance, resistance. And God knows if it's going to be pulling back or it's going to kick back. Nobody knows anymore. It depends on the buyers and the sellers. Folks, what you see, what you get is not a pre-made video. Right now, with on the last signals right in front of you, based on the last signals, we are up 615 ticks. God bless you all. Please be careful with your trading and try to. We'll see when we have time. We'll go live again and try to teach a little bit about trading. Bye for now.